And everything was right with the world again. Breakfast at the kitchen table. Juice. Me and the kitty. Bedhead. Oh, it's currently something like 74 degrees. The high today is going to be 92. Ugh, damn it, I sold the air conditioner at the estate sale. Oh, yeah. Oh, here she goes. Oh, I called you out on it, huh? Come on, show them what you do. Go ahead, show them. Well, I mean, laying down to eat is one of the things that she does. But the other thing she does is scoop food out and feed herself. I feel like I should call this video Auction, the sequel. Well, it certainly shouldn't be 2 hours long like the estate sale movie. This is a combination of fatigue and a new sense of calm. So, the update. I shot footage yesterday as people were picking up their stuff from the auction. So I'll share that with you. And we'll do a walk around because I want you to see the fallout from the auction. But you'll hear me say at one point, if I had to do it all over again, and now I know what I know, I would have skipped the estate sale. I would have went straight auction, entire house. I just wanted to share, right? It's 92 degrees with a real feel of 109. The humidity when I asked was at like 71%. I'm inside. Randy, the auctioneer, is here. He's got a tent set up for him. But what he and his wife have been doing is going in and out of the garage and bringing out all the different lots. Why? Well, it was an online auction. So my opinion is based on an online auction, not in-person or live auction. So Randy came, put things in lots. You know, the only thing he needed from me was, yeah, this is going and that's not. Otherwise, he was all on his own, just going through the garage, making lots. And then there was nothing else for me to do. And then the auction ends. I didn't even have to pay attention to it. I may have mentioned this before. People were like, are you watching the auction? No, I'm not watching the auction. You know, once I signed the paperwork and I knew Randy had it handled, for me, all those items like the Massey Ferguson, you know, the welder, the hydraulic press, the canoes, the kayaks, were all on a big list for me. Like, how do I get rid of it? These are all things that need to go, and how, you know. So once Randy came and was going to put all that on auction, I was able to, like on the whiteboard, just erase that entire list. So I didn't care what was going on as far as bidding. I knew I would get a check. I didn't care how much. It's never been about the money. I think I've repeated that. You can all say it with me. The money is where? In the house, in the property. And then yesterday, right? 92 degrees. I'm basically repeating everything I shot footage of yesterday. Those poor suckers were out in that humidity yesterday, picking up their stuff, you know, and Randy had to oversee all of that. And where was I? In the house. Nice. Cool as I could be, with the ceiling fans going. I didn't even have to watch if I didn't want to. So the title company, as far as the camper goes, so yesterday morning, 9 a.m., I was right there when they unlocked the door to the title company. I had all the paperwork necessary, death certificate, you know, because the title was in my husband's name. Did all the paperwork at the title place and left it there so that the guy who bought the trailer, him and his wife, could show up whenever they showed up. There was a technicality, of course, you know, it couldn't be simple, that on the title it didn't have the gross vehicle weight of the trailer. And the gentleman who was buying it is a licensed inspector, so he said to them, you don't need the vehicle weight, or if you did, you can just look it up. It's not a handmade trailer. It is a production-made trailer. You could just look up gross vehicle weight of a Mobile Scout 12-foot and put it in. No, you've got to take it to a place just a mile down here and have them weigh it. So Jesse was concerned, he was the buyer, that he couldn't pick up the trailer because he didn't have proof that he did the title transfer. But I didn't care. Randy and I spoke it over. Whatever. Talked it over. We let him take it, go get it weighed. And now, of course, now it's a time crunch because this was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They lived like 2 hours from here. To have to take it to the garage, get it weighed, and then bring it back to the title place before 5:45 because that was last call for titles. But again, I didn't have to do a thing except give consent and hand over the keys when they came. So all in all, I would absolutely recommend an auction over an estate sale because there was less me involvement. There wasn't 20 people trying to break down the door waiting for the estate sale people to let them in. There was no haggling. That, you know, you did the auction, you won. It was what it was, price-wise. And they were all paid. They had to pay before they showed up for the online auction. I mean, it was that simple. Randy came with a stack of paid invoices so that, you know, he could dole out all the lots and everything. The one really big piece of equipment in the garage, this guy, one young, skinny guy, came to pick up this heavy piece of equipment. He had a forklift. He had what he needed, but he was the only one. He didn't bring a helper. And the way he had to position his pickup truck and trailer, he clogged up everything. Now, I have different views, right? So, of course, everybody else that was coming to pick up, because you know they all showed up at once, they couldn't get their pickup truck in to get it, or if they had come in before this guy, now they got their stuff and they were stuck waiting for him. And it took this was a heavy piece of equipment, the CNC machine, this one that was hardwired into the electric. My perspective, though, was God bless this kid, and he didn't let any of the grumbling around him bother him. You know, when I was watching from the window, all the opinions of how he should have done it better, he should have brought this, he should have brought another person, you know. He just focused on what he had to do, and sure enough, he got it in there by himself. I eventually walked away. I didn't want to see how it ended, and I guess it was good because getting it onto the trailer, whew, but the trailer situated on a hill, and he had a winch pulling it on the forklift. Apparently at one point momentum took over and he almost squashed himself in his own trailer, according to Randy's wife. See, I didn't have to be a part of any of that. I hung out in the bedroom with Mama Cat, played games on my phone. Yeah. There were two things when I rewatched my 2-hour movie that I realized I left out. They're trivial, but you guys enjoy the stories. So at one point I had said that Lucy and Sonia had a guy named Jim that was going to come in and buy everything for pennies on a dollar. This guy, he looked like backwoods Pennsylvania. I don't think he had his teeth in, full beard, baseball cap. I went to shake his hand and it was a limp biscuit. I don't like a guy who's not going to shake your hand like he's afraid to touch you or whatever. He had walked around and looked at me and said, "I'm real sorry, there's nothing here worth my time." Bye. I was not insulted at all. Honestly, I'm not saying that sarcastically. So the good news, oh no, I'm not going to jump to the good news yet, because there was a second story about the crate. I had said there were 2 stories about the crate and I only told one. The second story about the crate, the one that was under the basement steps, that was full of dander and hair and mouse poop and blah. When I finally sorted out all those buckles, I think the first story was how I found the treasure in it anyway. After I sorted it out and it was empty, I was so disgusted about this wooden crate, and I know that people love these wooden crates, love to collect them, but this one I saw as toxic waste. So I opened up my basement doors and tossed this sucker just out in the driveway and let it go. Well, it got rained on and things like that, and Lucy and Sonia were seeing it. "What's going on with this?" And I told them the toxic story, and they're like, "We'll take a hose to it or whatever." But it sat for a while, and then we had someone come, the guy who came and took my hydroponics, came to the estate sale and he took a bunch of mason jars. We had tons of mason jars and he took them, but he needed crates to put them in, and he saw that crate. And I said, "Mike, let me wash it out," So I took the hose to it and washed it out. I mean, remember, it poured that day, so everything was soaking wet. And I said, "Full disclosure though, Mike, before you accept it," and I told him the toxic history. He's like, "I homestead out in the woods. We've got mice." He didn't care. So the wooden crate went with Mike and the mason jars. He's also the one that bought that really big outdoor brown storage container that was out by the tree that day. Yeah. So the good news. I told you about this guy, Rich, the gun owner, trumpet player, how he came, bought a bunch of stuff and handed me a check, and how he put me in touch with Chris, the eBay guy. Well, Chris, the eBay guy, wonderful guy, laid back. We connected on so many levels philosophically. We were sitting here talking at the kitchen table while he was going through this little container I have of knickknack jewelry. It's not real. Like I keep it for stuff for mixed media. But I said, go ahead and look through it. Maybe there's some vintage stuff in there, whatever you want to pull out. So he sat here going through that, and we were talking. And he wanted to know what my goal was. And I was like, get the house empty, like whatever you want, right? And at this point, I know it's not the best of the best because people have been through here. So we're bartering. Instead of giving him things to put on eBay and hoping to get money back, he gets to take it all. The good, the bad, the ugly. He'll clean out the house for free as a barter that whatever he wants to put on eBay, he'll make his money on eBay. I wish him all the best. I hope he makes his millions. The stuff, everything that's left over, and I mean everything, is not my problem anymore. Even the giant monolith Victrola. What? Am I talking too much? She's sitting here crying. What? What? She's sitting on my journal. But that's the good news. That's the absolutely fantastic news. And my body doesn't know what to do about it. There were no tears. I was so exhausted and it was too hot. There were no tears. But last night when I was here alone and I knew we were on the other side, it's July, the estate sale, the auction pickup, it's done. The crickets can start chirping again. There should be nobody coming to this house for days. Yeah, and like I want to put a huge do not disturb sign down at the bottom of the driveway. Yeah, so once again, I'm in this position where it was go, 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 clean out, do this, do that, stress, crying, everything. You know, restless leg syndrome, you've heard of that, where you unfortunately have it. I didn't have restless leg syndrome last night. I had restless shoulder. All right, this one, so that I kind of pulled the muscle a couple weeks back. All of a sudden, 2 o'clock in the morning, it hurt because I wasn't moving it. Like it just, it wanted to, it needed, oh my God, it was the most uncomfortable and odd thing that I have a foot massager machine. I sat up on the edge of the bed and put my feet in that to get my brain to focus on my feet. And then it was so hot last night, and at that point I had all the windows open just to try and get some air in here. I think it only dropped down to 76 last night. But I think that was cooler than whatever was happening in the house. Cat hair. So after I worked on my feet, I went and sat on the basement steps halfway down because it's cool down there, and cooled myself off. It was like my body suddenly, like, because I knew I could relax and it was releasing all this pent up adrenaline, my body was doing weird. Oh, I'm glad I finally fell back to sleep. So yeah, I actually had time to catch up in my journal today. I'm really in a position where I'm processing. I'm recovering and processing from the whole mess. I can start thinking about, there's a museum in Wilkes-Barre that has had a display about the Hubble telescope. I want to see that before that's gone. My memory keeper journal, I don't remember the last time I was in it. There's going to be 2, maybe 3 weeks of blank pages. We started a new quarter, so I can start thinking about doing that. I can share the video of those trolleys I made with all my supplies. And because Chris is going on a cruise and I'm having my oral surgery, he's not coming until after July 12th sometime. So it puts me in a position to really reassess what's left and take my time and clean up the mess from the auction and the estate sale. I mean, I don't have to clean up too much because Chris is going to come in and clean it out. But I can fidget, tinker about what's going on here. And I like that feeling. That makes me feel good because there's no rush anymore. I have a question for you guys though. You remember those silk paintings in the other room? I got a little territorial, with the whole Lucy thing. And after a while, you know, she put value on stuff like the basket, right? Like this hand woven basket. She talked about the value of that. And it was one of those things where someone wanted to buy it and she didn't let them buy it because they weren't offering enough. But then in the end, she asked to buy it outright. So I decided to keep it. I was like, if that guy couldn't have it, you can't have it. I'm keeping it. The same thing's going on with these silk paintings. So the whole reason that they're out is because when I moved in with my husband, they were up in the attic because his ex-wife didn't like them. And so she wouldn't let him put them out. And again, I believe these are from Aunt Ruth's travels. And I loved them. So I took them down from the attic and put them in here. Sorry, there's a glare from the lamp. But I had made this room into like a travel room, right? When it was fully furnished, right? The bookshelf that was in that corner was all about travel books. Yeah. And so initially, right, they're still up there because I let them be part of the estate sale. I don't know. I want to keep them, but I don't want to keep them. I want your opinion. It's, you know, that spark joy. I think at this point it's hard for me to determine if it sparks joy or not, because I've been in the throes of needing to empty out the house and just needing to feel like I can breathe. So now that I can start breathing again, what's your opinion? I have no idea what kind of home I'm moving into. It would definitely mean that I would have to have some sort of Asian decor, which I love Asian decor. But also, I feel like I'm not starting fresh. Do I want to bring this part of my history with me? Because I could even keep the sword, but part of me doesn't want to have weapons in the house anymore. I'm so over the weapons. So it's a mixed bag. Keep them because they're unique, they're gorgeous, or let them go to Chris and start new. I don't know if you can see, it's silk fabric. That's why you see these little ripples, because that's the silk actually, you know, in the frame. So it's not on paper. That was the one thing Chris said to me when we were negotiating what I wanted to do, you know, and he said he wouldn't charge me. He said, there's no garbage here. And I was like, nope, the dumpster was the first thing I got. So, yeah, so I kind of just appreciated that validation that when you look around, there's nothing that needs to be cleaned out. It's not garbage. Everything is got some sort of value here. The uranium glass. So Randy had said on the phone before coming to pick up yesterday, he had asked how the estate sale went, and I said there was a lot of stuff left over. And he said, oh, well, do you want us to help you sell things? And I said, well, on the second when you come, you can certainly look around and choose for yourself. And then I had Rich come. And so when Randy was here yesterday, without coming in the house, I don't know how we got on it. Did he know Rich? I forget. But anyway, I told him Rich came and bought a bunch of stuff and handed me a check. And he said, well, I'm not going to come in. There's not going to be anything good left. Oh, I think he asked about the knives. Did he ask about the knives? Everybody asks about the swords, but they're made in Pakistan flea market, so nobody wants them. That's why they're still here. They're not like original swords. So anyway, Randy just said, no, I'm not even going to come in the house. It's not going to be worth my time. So then when that little hiccup came with the title, he came in the house to tell me about it and talk to me, and he's standing here, and all of a sudden he looks at the uranium glass and he's like, oh, you know, are you keeping those? No. And then talked to him about how, you know, Lucy wanted a certain amount for him. I looked at him, I was like, you tell me. She was saying they're $45 a stem. So in other words, this glass right here is $45. And he looked at me and said, retail maybe. He goes, if you take the time to put them on eBay, you might get $45. And then it's interesting because even with Chris, when Chris was here, I brought up the damn uranium glass, right? And he even looked at me and said, you'd be lucky to get $20. You know? I wouldn't even want to keep them now because, yeah, they're beautiful. They really are a beautiful set. I even like the stem on these. But every time I look at them, I'll think about the whole estate sale debacle. I said to Chris, I was like, just for spite, everybody wants that damn uranium glass. Please take it. Just take it, and I want zero money for it. Right? Like, I just prove my point. Just get the damn glass out of here. All right, before it gets too hot, let's go and look at the auction fallout. Oh boy, do I need to do before pictures? I hope not, right? So that big machine was right there. Look, I got boxes and crates. I don't know where these came from. Nobody wanted my fuel. That makes sense. And actually, I'm okay with that because I'm going to need fuel for the lawnmower. I'm sorry, I'm very distracted because I guess Randy didn't realize that was hardwired. Am I going to have a damn electrician come back again? Why didn't he say anything yesterday? For the love of Pete. If I have to pay $150 for Ray to come back out again when he could have taken care of that when he was here the first time. Oh, see? Fallout. All right. So, I mean, there's general mess, but then there's things that people didn't take. But now between Chris and between my scrap metal guy, I don't have to worry about any of this. That's why I'm so calm. I can't believe, well, my dad's shopsmith. There's nothing wrong with this machine. It works perfectly, but it's a cult following. It has its own niche. So I'm guess in one sense, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that it didn't sell. And then on one hand, I am surprised. But just like the hospital beds, you know, a perfectly working machine is going to go to scrap metal. Yeah, that makes sense. Chemicals and stuff. Oh, man alive. Oh, you know, it's so hard for me. Don't step on the screws. So Jerry made this metal table from scrap. And part of me wishes, man, I mean, that is an excellent work table. You're not going to break that table, but I sure as hell can't take it with me. But this, Even if I unbolted it off of here, that means whatever workshop I make for myself, I'll have to find some sort of table to bolt it to. I might do it anyway, just to keep it. I mean, just for this, I want this. This tool is so helpful. Oh boy. All right, what else? I really haven't been out here since they left. Yeah, look at, again, I don't have to panic because somebody's going to come and do a clean out for me. But something like this, I would keep that. Oh, brother. What a mess. Well, there's a cute little case. This is bad. The more I see little stuff like that, I'm shopping my own stash. Yeah. My coneflowers are starting to bloom. Coneflowers and black-eyed Susans. Coreopsis. Oh, my bee balm. Hello, beautiful bee balm. Listen to those birds. People are crazy. I took the time to make sure everybody had their manuals, went through all those manuals. You know how you keep manuals? I took the time to go through them all. Oh, the turkeys. Turkeys! Can you see them? They're in the shadows. Yeah, so that's the thing about this, is that people don't have respect for the property. Let's go in here first. Oy, oy, oy. Again, I just keep telling myself I don't have to do any of the clean out. Look at this vintage photo of a tractor. Oh boy. Yeah, so this used to be down in the garage. Somebody must have put it in their truck to take it and then decided not to take it, but while they were up here clearing out stuff. Oh, man. You know, it's not as weird as I thought it would be to have the trailer missing. Let's see. All right. So the Kubota wasn't part of the auction because I would bring this to Virginia with me. Except I don't plan on having a property where I need it. Everybody wants my Kubota. Ladders are gone. There wasn't too much in here that was going. Yeah, my zero turn. Nobody was to touch the zero turn or anything on it, so that's all good. I don't know, there's a box of something there. The kayaks are gone. My friend's supposed to come pick this up, so that wasn't part of the auction. I have fuel there, that's good. That mower goes with the abandoned house. Nobody wanted the junk in this corner. So the canoe is gone. The wood splitter's gone. The Massey Ferguson is gone. Yeah, all the junk is left behind. Somebody won the bid for the picnic tables and then decided not to take them. Yeah, that was happening a lot. They came and saw this stuff and wouldn't take it. Look, all my vests for kayaking are still here. Even the doggy vest. Oh, God. The bugs. The bugs, the humidity. This is why I can't go any further south than Virginia, because I'm about to lose my mind. Get me in the house. I had some sort of flying thing buzzing my head, going in my ear. God. Yeah, so if you're someone that's going to have to go through something like this, just know there's going to be crap left over. Yeah, and I wonder, because Chris only saw the inside of the house. He did say, whatever's left from what Randy's doing, I'll include that too. I don't know if he, if he'll change his mind when he sees all those outbuildings. Oh boy. Well, when Mike the scrap guy comes, he'll take a lot of that metal and stuff. Well, I get to sit here and figure out what I want to do today. I think I'm going to get my plants out of the bedroom, put them back out here where they can get some sun, and open up my bedroom a little bit, because right now I can't walk in my bedroom. I have to step over things. And because it's going to be another scorcher of a day, if I want to keep cool, I should go putter around in the basement, do some laundry or something. It's a catch-22. So if I'm going to go down in the basement, I should spend the day down in the basement like a cave dweller. Because you go down the basement and get cool, then you don't want to come up to the main floor, because now it seems even hotter than before you went down in the basement. Hey, look, this is my biggest problem today. That's a win. That's a win. I've been listening to the audio on my videos. I'm gonna have to start using those cordless mics, just so that maybe I get a consistent volume level, so that you're not raising the volume, lowering the volume. I'm sorry about that. I do apologize ahead of time. All right, that's all I've got for now. Love you guys. Laugh alive. Laugh a lot.